Hey everyone, so normally around this time of year I do a top 5 of the games I most anticipate from E3. But the thing is, like, I don't really have like any structured thoughts on any of the games. I do have a couple games I anticipate a lot, but like most of the games I anticipate a lot are games that have already been announced from former years. So I'm just gonna talk about like some games that stood out to me and some things that stood out to me, and cut it together in like a way that sort of makes sense. So first thing I want to talk about is Watch Dogs Legion, which of course is not something that was announced last year, but I digress. Watch Dogs Legion looks very interesting in the sense that I like that it's Europe. I'm kind of biased, but normally when games like this get made, they take place in America. Like you have the GTA series and Red Dead Redemption, and of course, like if it's not Europe, no, if it's not America, you have the Yakuza series, which obviously takes place in Japan. So like bar like Assassin's Creed, which I obviously haven't kept up with. Like Europe is not really like you don't really see modern Europe. Like when it's Assassin's Creed, it's like oh, remember Italy in like 1607? Yeah. um. So yeah, this looks interesting just because it's like modern Europe doesn't get a lot of love. Of course, it's England and it's like post Brexit, which is kind of hilarious because Brexit is still going on. So it's like, oh well, England would eventually turn into a fascist dictatorship, which is nothing new. V for Vendetta was about this. 1984 was about this. England just seems like the perfect setting for these fascist right-wing dictatorship horror stories. Um, and of course, like Overwatch to some extent also has like Britain being very like, oh, we do it on our own. We're British. We're strong and we're on our own, and we don't need you lot coming here telling us what to do or what. Um, like, eh, Britain, Britain. But yeah, like obviously, like a lot of people are gonna see this is anti-Brexit propaganda, and like, well, I don't think you should be surprised about that. Like, Watch Dogs has always been a very lefty series, like to fight the dumbass fucking main thing, and fight the government, fight the power, row fight the power. That's always been Watch Dogs thing, like as far as I can tell. But like I have not really played. I played like 2 hours of the first Watch Dogs and kind of put it away. I wasn't really that interested in it. I'm told the second game and the first game are nothing alike, and this game is not going to be anything like the two first ones. So that's interesting. Like, maybe I'll pick up two before Legion comes out and play that a bit. But overall, like this seems really interesting, and I'm really interested in like the you can play as anything thing, and you can play as anyone thing, because like this could be really interesting depending on how deep it is. Like I get the sense that there's gonna be some burner characters, like the bald guy that you see in the trailer. There's gonna be some characters you're just gonna, all right, he has basic abilities. He can be used for like if there's a mission where you feel like there's a pretty high chance someone is gonna die and you don't want to lose a character you really like. Here's a burner character you can choose for it. Um, I'm also thinking like, is this gonna be based on the Nemesis system from the Shadow of War and Shadow of Mordor games, where like their personalities will be randomized to a certain extent, and they will react to how you treat them to a certain extent. But obviously, there's gonna be a lot of stuff where they just act like the other characters. It is really cool looking. It looks like they really like wanted it to feel like anybody can be in Red Rebellion. You don't have to be a young hacker member of any form of. You just have to be willing to take up the fight. Like, and that's interesting. That's really cool. Clumsy Chicken pointed out while we were watching the streams. We watched the streams together sometimes. That she really wants some characters to like latch onto. She's really into like character building, and when it comes to stories, she latches onto characters, and I do sometimes as well. And like I agree, like it didn't seem like there was like any main characters to latch onto and really like bite into their stories, bite into their backstories and stuff. There's a very real chance that this ability to play as anyone comes at the at the behest of you not really getting any deep character moments and deep character stories, and that's a shame. The next thing I wanted to talk about was Jedi Fallen Order, because speaking of characters, have you ever seen a more milquetoast character than the main character of Jedi Fallen Order? I mean, holy crap, does he just look like every other fucking video game main character from the last 10 years. He's just some young white brunette who's like in it for the heroics. Like, had this come out on the PS3, I would not have been as surprised by it. But him being like, now, like you're still doing this, like, and in Star Wars you're doing this, like when there's this giant well from the old expanded universe you could draw from. Like, Star Wars was already full of this type of character. Why are you making up another one? Why are you not using like Ezra Bridges from Rebels, or Kyle Katarn from the Jedi Knight series? Like, Jedi Fallen Order could just as well have been a Jedi Knight game or a Force Unleashed game. Like, it could have been Galen from Force Unleashed. There's no reason this is not just Galen or Kyle. Other than you decided you wanted to make up yet another one of these characters. Saul Guerrero is there, like, hey, Forrest Whitaker. Like, I watched the episodes he's in Clone Wars, really liked him from there. I didn't really care about him in Rogue One, so I'm glad, like, this iteration of him is gonna get some action, gonna get some stuff to do. So I'm a little bit excited to see some more of Saul Guerrero. I would have been more interested if they had just made a Saul Guerrero game. Like, you're playing as an aging Forrest Whitaker, just being a rebel leader and doing like blitz attacks on Imperial bases, stuff like that. I would have liked that so much more. Maybe something in the style of Godfather 2, where you like sometimes you go there yourself as a player character, and sometimes you send in a rebel force to do it. Like, but no, you know, you got to do the basic single player hack and slash with a milquetoast main character. That we have seen a billion times before, when you can't just reuse one of the characters. You could have called this Jedi Knight, and people would have fucking applauded you. Like, oh, we're bringing back the Jedi Knight series. Come play it. Oh, wow, Jedi Knight. Shadows of the Empire is coming back. That would have been fucking amazing. No, we're not doing that. So, you're probably here. I'm bored with, like, a little bit bitter. This is, well, because I was so excited. I think everyone was excited when they announced they were working on a new single-player Star Wars game. Everyone probably got excited. Like, oh, hey, fuck yeah! Like, we don't want to play more Battlefront? It's Battlefront, right? We don't want a Battlefront without a campaign. You're gonna do a single-player game from the guys who made Wolf. Is it Wolframe? No, it's not Wolframe. It's they're gonna do a Star Wars single player game, and they got the writer from Uncharted to work on it. That sounds fucking amazing on paper, and then this is what we get. Like, Elden Ring, by the way, speaking of getting really good writers to work on things, looks just as vague as any other FromSoft game story-wise, which is surprising considering they got George R.R. Martin to work on it. A little less vague, but still just very like, oh, you're like they always have those intros where like some characters speaking mumbo jumbo. I think the most clear intro of the Souls main series, not Bloodborne, the Souls main series is Souls 1. The other ones are very like, there's a lady with a melting face in the second intro or something. Like, it sounds like a Kingdom Hearts cutscene, basically. Like, the intro to the second game, the intro to Dark Souls 2, sounds like Kingdom Hearts dialogue. And this was like as well, like, oh, the fuck does any of this mean? Like, I get that you're supposed to get curious about it, but at the same time, maybe tell something that's clear. Like, this seemed not as bad as that, but and like, oh, it's a cinematic and like, like, I'm sorry, I'm not a big Game of Thrones fan, so, but like, I'm glad to see like FromSoft is still like trying to do medieval stuff, and like, I'm just like that the good, like they're making more, yes, fine. Now the Nintendo games also look really interesting. Like, I'm not gonna talk that much about the new Breath of the Wild sequel, because it's like, oh, there's a mummy that comes alive, and like, a lot of people are saying, oh, that's Ganon. I was like, could it be Vati? But like, no, it's clearly Ganon. Like, oh, we're doing Ganondorf again. I like it when Zelda becomes more than just the Triforce and you gotta save the princess from the thing. Like, I like it when Zelda goes like, oh, this universe is actually bigger. Like, I love it. I love Link's Awakening. Very apropos, the remake in Link's Awakening, because Link's Awakening is not about Ganondorf. It's not about Zelda. Link is there, obviously, but like, he's going on a different adventure. Majora's Mask, as well. Like, it's you're exploring more stuff. You get to do darker themes. You get to do weirder stuff. You get to go deeper into the universe that this takes place in. Like, and I really like that Breath of the Wild like also expanded on like who got the Sheikah and stuff like that. But yeah, like, we're doing Mommy Ganon. Link's Awakening, on the other hand, looks fucking amazing. I have not played that game since I was 8, though, so it just looks cute. It looks like claymation or toys or something. It's wonderful. It's just wonderful. Luigi's Mansion looks really good. I haven't played any of the Luigi's Mansion games. Luigi's Mansion was one of those games where I would like read about it in the magazines and then, oh man, this looks really good. And then I got a PlayStation 2 and it didn't matter anymore. And then I bought a used GameCube years later, and I just have not been able to track down a copy of Luigi's Mansion or even Super Mario Sunshine anywhere. Plenty of copies of Mario Kart Double Dash and even Twilight Princess, but Luigi's Mansion and Super Mario Sunshine. Like, at least the Danish fans, they're really holding on to their copies. They're not selling them used anywhere. I usually love watching Ubisoft, even though I don't play a lot of Ubisoft games. They're one of the companies I always make sure to see, just because their presentations are usually some of the most entertaining there. Like, they always get some really good people to work on those presentations. Like, they used to have Aisha Tyler presented for a lot of years, number of years. That was always great. Aisha, we miss you. I miss you, at least. But this year, like, I guess I was just bored because almost everything they had to announce was Tom Clancy games. And like, hey, okay, John Bernthal is there. Hey, John Bernthal. And there's a dog, and yeah, nice. But like, I don't give a shit about Ghost Recon. I don't play shooters. I don't. Well, I do, but I don't play like serious military shooters. I play Overwatch and Team Fortress and stuff like that. Borderlands and Fallout. I like weird fantasy shooters. And I know that's just like a taste. I don't watch war movies either. It's not like that. I'm like, oh, that is only for bros and stuff. No, I just don't. It just doesn't interest me. Like, I don't watch war movies. I don't play war games. That's what it is. I'm sure there are good games if you're into the genre to begin with, but not for me. I like Doom. Give me Doom instead. So like, them doing so many Tom Clancy games this year, and then a phone game about Tom Clancy as well. It's like, you're doing they've owned Tom Clancy's name since like the year 2000. Like, it started out with them doing Splinter Cell. I think that was their first Tom Clancy game. But like, Tom Clancy's most famous book, arguably, is The Hunt for Red October. And there is no Hunt for Red October game. And that's really weird because Ubisoft owns the Silent Hunter series. So they know how to make submarine games. Why have you not made why have nobody put this together? Why has nobody said like, oh, the team who works on Silent Hunter, let's have them work on Hunt for Red October. Let's just do that. You want to make a bunch of games with the Tom Clancy name on it anyway? Just take those two parts, put them together. Just make a Silent Hunter special Hunt for Red October game. Of course, like, obviously with the caveat that Silent Hunter has never done well. I don't think anyone under the age of 30 plays Silent Hunter. At least very few people do. It's like with Sega. Sega does the championship manager games. And it's like, I don't think anyone, like, aside from really hardcore like soccer fans, play the championship manager games. Because I think most soccer fans just play FIFA, where you actually control the characters. They are not interested in the whole management simulation. Obviously, I'm also just sad because there's no Rayman game. Beyond Good and Evil looks like it's gonna get delayed, because there was no news about it this year. And I think we had a very short... I think we've had a gameplay demo or a gameplay trailer earlier this year, but like, it looks delayed to me. Like, there's a suspiciously small amount of information about Beyond Good and Evil 2 out there right now. Cyberpunk 2 as well, like, or Cyberpunk 2077 as well, is like, well, it's clearly being developed, and the thing is, like, obviously EA wasn't here this year. Sony wasn't here this year. Square was here. And Square finally sold me on Final Fantasy VII Remake. Um, I have played Final Fantasy VII, unfinished it. I haven't finished it. Unfinished it. I don't know what the fuck that means. I haven't finished it. I have played the beginning disc of it numerous times. And I think the furthest I've ever gotten is right after the big spoiler moment when you're. I have snowboarded. I have seen the big sad spoiler that everyone parodies all the time. I have been to the theme park. I have motorcycled. I have been on a boat. I have dressed up as a sailor and been on a boat. And I have been to Yuffie's hometown, but I have not. I've not recruited Vincent, and so I'm like, I would say I am 20% into the game. And Final Fantasy VII Remake is probably what's gonna make me finally finish Final Fantasy, because Final Fantasy VII, because I like the story and I like the characters of Final Fantasy VII, but I could not give less of a shit about the gameplay. And I know that's kind of weird thinking, like, because right now I'm playing through Persona 5 on the channel, but Persona 5 doesn't have a lot of like grinding, and that's my main problem with the genre of Japanese role playing games. Like, I don't like random encounters. I really don't like. Like, I hate when you're like running through a hallway, having to go somewhere. Like, I just have to exit this hallway and then I'll be to the next part of the game. And then like, I hate that shit. I can't deal with it, especially not if you lose to them. Like, I'm a whiny bitch when it comes to grinding. I really don't. I played the shit out of Pokemon Yellow when I was a kid, and I think it's the only grindy JRPG I have ever finished. Other than that, I have just mainly played Kingdom Hearts and like Dark Souls. I guess is a JRPG, but you know what I mean by like JRPGs, like Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy. Like, I keep picking up Final Fantasy games and Chrono Trigger and being like, I gotta play this game, and Paper Mario as well. Like, I gotta get through this, and then I'll get to a certain point, like usually to the second main boss or something, and then like give up on the game just because I get tired of grinding and get tired of losing to the boss. So yeah, Final Fantasy VII will probably be the game that, like, Final Fantasy VII Remake will probably be what makes me finally finish Final Fantasy. I remember watching Advent Children even, and being like, oh, maybe I can just watch this movie and then I don't have to play the game. And no, don't watch Final Fantasy Advent Children or whatever it's called. This is a terrible movie. One game I'm really sad that people seem to be sleeping on is Panzer Dragoon, because like I think the last Panzer Dragoon was for Xbox in like 2004 or something. I mean the original Xbox, and like Panzer Dragoon is fun. It's like a rail shooter. You're like a guy riding on a dragon. You get to kill all of the monsters. Like, I know rail shooters as a genre is not really around anymore. So just the fact that we're getting another fucking rail shooter, like, obviously it's not Time Attack or House of Dead, but it's fucking Panzer Dragoon, and it's a fun game, and like Panzer Dragoon, I remember playing the original Xbox game. And also, I think I played a bit of the Sega Saturn game. So like, I'm not by no means like an expert on Panzer Dragoon. I'm just glad to see Sega making another one, like, and on the Nintendo Switch of all things. Like, um, I really expected them to like make a phone game. Like, if they ever brought back Panzer Dragoon, I expected it to be a tablet game where it's like an auto runner where you have to press the things before they get to your side of the screen. But thankfully not. It's an actual game. It's coming out. It's just I just wanted to bring it up because everybody seems to be sleeping on them remaking Panzer Dragoon. Like, what the hell? Like, that really came out of left field for me. And yeah, like, that is not as serious I expected to ever return. It was be like Nintendo announcing a new Star Tropics game or something at this point. Um, or a new Mother game. Uh, like, oh, Mother 4 for the Nintendo Switch. Like, holy shit, what the fuck? That is what it would be like. Also, like another game that I have not seen a lot of people mention is Battletoads. They're Battletoads. They're making new Battletoads. Nobody's talking about it, and I think I know why nobody talks about it because they want to like pretend that it's not there. Because the artwork looks like shitty modern TV show artwork. Like, I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry about putting that bluntly, but most modern TV shows, animated TV shows, to me don't look very good. Like, I don't like how uh, how square modern TV shows look, and by that I mean like it's like uh, people have stopped doing the rounded shapes on most things. Like, if you watch the new Ducktales, they have square heads. They have very straight edges on them. Like the beaks are very straight. Like there's like a softness that's gone from this modern art style. That I miss, and yeah, it's a little bit too clean. The lines are a little bit too clean for me. And it's the same thing with the new Battletoads. Like, it's brightly colored characters with fake outlines that like do very modern poses and very modern faces. Like, okay, yeah, sure, modern. I guess this is what modern. You know what modern Battletoads makes me think of? Modern Ninja Turtles. If you look at the new Nickelodeon Ninja Turtle show, Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, that came out like last year. It looks like that. It looks like the Battletoads interpretation of that, and I guess Battletoads have always been like a semi ripoff of Ninja Turtles, so that makes total sense. It's just a shame. It's a shame. Like you could have made it. Also, it's just the fact that like it looks kind of rushed and cheap and like, by all means, like I really want it to be good, and I'm gonna. That's one of the ones like I'm gonna probably get despite the trailer not making me interested. If they're releasing it on PC, I'm still not sure they're releasing it on PC. It seems like it might be an Xbox exclusive, which is strange to me because yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, make new Battletoads, and that's actually kind of exciting. Just the fact that they're doing a new Battletoads game. Mario and Sonic. I'm sorry, I knew Mario and Sonic looks interesting. Just because I thought the series was dead. I thought Sega lost the rights to the Olympic Games. But here we are, Mario and Sonic, the official Tokyo 2020 game. I really thought them skipping the 2018 games meant they lost the rights, but apparently not. I wonder what happened. I wonder why they decided to jump. Maybe it was because the Switch was in development and and the Wii U was not doing very well. They were like, oh no, and they didn't want to just make a 3DS title. Like, maybe that's it. Maybe that's just because the Wii U was not doing very well at the time, and the Switch was coming out next year. It was coming out that year, and stuff. Like, they just decided, you know what? No, we're gonna use our resources for something else. That might as well have been it. Like, but they're doing a new Sonic and Mario Olympic Games, and you know what? They seem gimmicky. If you haven't played any of them, they seem like gimmicky, poorly made games, really dumb. I know everybody wants a quote unquote proper crossover between Mario and Sonic, but let me assure you that they're fun minigames. Like, if you like minigame compilations in the slightest, they're definitely some of the best on the market. At least the original Wii one was, and the one for Wii U, the Winter Game one for Wii U, was also really good. Um, so I can only say, like if you want a sports an Olympic Games video game, you you're not doing poorly by getting the Mario and Sonic ones. Like, I'm really looking forward to this new one. Also, just because I don't like Mario Tennis, or I do like Mario Tennis, but I don't want to just buy a Mario Tennis game anymore. I feel like I don't play sports games enough for that anymore. Like, I think I think the only sports games I play these days are racing games. Um, so if I had to get like a Mario sports game, it would have to be a minigame compilation with more than one sport there. I'm not gonna play Mario Strikers or Mario Golf. All power to you if you like those titles. They're not for me. The new Adventures game is probably the final thing I'm going to talk about, because the new Adventures game, just like the new Star Wars game, looks very basic, very by the book, like mainstream sensibility thing. Like, oh look, like Square Enix this time though, instead of EA. Like, you have no reason to be just doing a vague imitation of the MCU lineup. There's no reason. Like, it's not set in the MCU. It's not set in the cinematic universe. You don't have to make it as like, oh god, this is gonna sound wrong, but as empty as the Marvel universe, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like, because the Marvel Cinematic Universe is very good, and I love the movies. I really liked Endgame and Infinity. I think I have liked pretty much every Marvel movie. But the problem with the weakness the Marvel Cinematic Universe has is that they have to introduce their new characters. They have to introduce every character. They have to make a movie introducing every character and stuff like that. And that means that every every hero seems to be showing up in a linear fashion. Like, oh, we started with Captain America. Well, we started with Inhumans, and then we got Captain America, and then da 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 da. Like, then Iron Man showed up, and then Hulk showed up, and then this other character showed up, and now they can meet and stuff like that. It's not like if you watch the animated DC universe, like, oh, here's Batman. Oh, Batman exists in this universe. Okay, I guess Batman exists in this universe. He's here, and everything you know about Batman is there already. They don't have to do the origin Batman animated movie. Like, they don't have to introduce the Joker and Robin and Alfred and stuff. Like, they're there. Uh, Like, oh hey, it's Red Tornado. Who knew? Red Tornado showed up. Like, why can't why can't Square do that with the new game? Why does it have to be Hulk, Tony, Steve, Natasha, and Thor, and Ant-Man? As I could tell, like not even Scott Lang, it's Hank. They got Hank. Hank is there. Yay, Hank. Like, why those four, six? Four, why those six? Like, why 60 years? Like, you could have had Beast, you could have had She-Hulk, you could have had Luke Cage, you could have had, like, Angel. You could have practically every Marvel character has been an Avenger at one point in time. Uh, Squirrel Girl, like practically any Marvel character to pick from, and you pick the five people who's been in the movie. And that just seems like oh god, that just seems like such a calculated move, like overly calculated move. It's like the lineup was not decided by a writer who wanted to pick some nice characters to write about. The characters were picked out by a committee who was like, these five characters people know. Can we have Ant-Man? Can we have another character? Yes, but it has to have been someone from the MCU. And then, oh yeah, we got Ant-Man there, but it's not Scott. Like, that's the most off the grid they wanted to go for this, and that's such a shame. I know they've announced that there more characters will be added, will DLC, but no, that doesn't matter, man. They should have just from the beginning just had like they have the Beast. But the X-Men isn't there. Yeah, but the Beast doesn't need the X-Men to be there. Wolverine doesn't need the X-Men to be there. Wolverine and the Beast have both been Avengers. It could have been the Wolverine could have been there, and he's one of the most interesting Marvel. Well, not most interesting, but most popular, definitely. Black Panther is huge right now. You could have used Black Panther. Wait, what? Sorry, I. And the thing is, I'm not even mad because I don't like these characters, because I really do like them. I love the Hulk. The Hulk is one of my favorite Marvel characters. I really like Iron Man. I really like Captain America. I really like Thor. I even really like Black Widow. But these are not the characters I want to see together because I have seen them together so fucking often. I've seen so much of these characters hanging out with each other, especially recently in the movies. Like, do a different character dynamic. Do it. Tony having to deal with Wolverine on his team, Wolverine and Tony in the same room. Like that. I feel like that scene writes itself, especially because Hulk and Wolverine are also old enemies. The Beast having to like hang out with I don't even know like any of the other characters. Yeah, I don't. On the other hand, like at least Ultimate Alliance 3 looks good. I really like Ultimate Alliance 1. I've not played the second one, but I really like the first one for the Wii. That was one of the first Wii games I got, and I played the shit out of it. I love coming back into this. The Ultimate Alliance series have always seemed like fan service. Like, here's all these characters that don't normally get to do anything. Here's Moon Knight. Here's the Ghost Rider. Have fun, you crazy kids. What, you want Marvel Knights? Here you go. Here's Marvel Knights. Like, hell yeah. Do that. Square's game should have been that. Um, like, yeah, yeah. I don't know. Like, I know this is me being a Marvel fan, and like I'm even mostly a DC guy. So like, but DC video games like Beyond the Arkham series does not have a very good track record. Unfortunately, like I would love them to do like Justice League the game. They have not done that yet. I don't think they have. Like, where's the Flash video game? The fastest man alive? You're telling me that's not a concept for a video game that works? You're telling me you're not able to come up with a good Green Lantern game? There's no like like you really only know how to make Batman into a video game character out of the entire Justice League? Alright, well, I think I'm gonna stop here. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys have a good night. I hope you guys have a good day. Yeah. Hopefully, I'll be more videos soon. Bye.